Hey, Griff Hamlin here. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you a slightly different way to play your pentatonic and blues scale. Now, you might wonder, if I've already got the boxes down and I get the little 4-note solo pattern, why do I need another way to do this? Well, really what it boils down to is I like to say that the more ways you can look at the same group of notes, the better off you are when it comes to soloing, because it makes it so you really can't ever get lost. It also gives you just some different options when it comes to playing notes. Certain things will finger easier, and as you're just noodling around, you might happen to stumble upon some licks that maybe you've heard some of your heroes play. And that's really cool, because hopefully down the road you'll get to where you've played all this stuff. So when you hear somebody else do it, you recognize it, and you'll know, oh, I know how they got that sound, because that's, in this pattern, I've heard that sound before. Okay, so the more ways we can go over learning the exact same group of notes, the better off you're going to be. So even though we're still just playing a pentatonic scale, you'll see some things in there, you'll hear some things in there. Hopefully that'll spark some creativity and give you some new soloing ideas, and help you to recognize things that you hear in other places. So let's start off with good old box one. And I'm going to show you box one because then I'm going to show you what we're going to do to change it a little bit. So box one, as you probably know, in the key of A, 5th fret, 8th fret, 5th fret, 7th, 5th fret, 7th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 8th, 5th, 8th on the first string. Okay? Obviously that works, we use it all the time. But there's some things we can do to change it around just a little bit, and it gives us a little bit more fretboard real estate, and it just fingers some things a little differently. So first of all, instead of starting with my first finger, I could start with my third finger. What that does is that opens up this low G down here on the 3rd fret of the 6th strings. So I've got 5, 3, 5. Okay, and the reason that I'm doing 5, 3, 5 instead of just 3, 5 is because I want to start and end on A so that you can get that ingrained in your ear. Then, instead of sliding up here to the 8th fret for the next note, I'm going to play it here at the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So now I've got 5, 3, 5, and then I move up to the 5th string for 3. The 5th fret there, and then slide up to the 7th fret. So now I basically have slid into the traditional box one pattern. So 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 7. Now the next two strings are going to be 5, 7, and 5, 7, just like they would be in box one. But from there, we're going to slide up to the 9th fret, and now which is the same note as we would have played here at the 5th fret on the 2nd string. We're going to play it down here on the 3rd string. The 8th fret on the 2nd string is a box one note, but I'm playing it with my first finger instead of how I would be playing it with my pinky. Then instead of playing the 5th fret on the 1st string, I'm going to play the 10th fret on the 2nd string. And that now I have a couple more notes up top. 8 and 10. 8 is in box one, 10 is not. You might also recognize this top portion as box 2. Or you might recognize it as my little 4-note solo pattern. Okay? So if I come back down, 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Now I know one of the big questions when I start showing things like this that have a slide in it is, how do you do the slide? Which finger do you use? Should I slide with the first finger? Should I slide with the third finger? What's the best way to go about this? I'm a firm believer that there is not one correct answer that will work for everyone. What I've noticed is that some people feel more comfortable sliding on the first finger. Some people feel more comfortable sliding on the 3rd or the 4th finger. Some people only on the 2nd finger. There's a lot of different variables in here. So what I would encourage you to do is to look at a couple of possibilities. One is that you slide with your first finger. So I would go 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, and I do the slide with my first finger. For many people, that's going to be the way to go because the first finger, we're comfortable with it. Okay, so that makes the slide. So then I slide there. Okay. Another option is the way I do it, which is on my way up, I'll use my third finger just because it's the most recent finger. So I slide with my third finger. But when I'm coming down, my first finger is the last one I come to, so I slide it. Okay, so again, neither one of those is necessarily right. Either one is fine, and as long as you're not making mistakes, that's the important part. So use whichever technique makes it so that you don't make mistakes. That's what it's all about, okay? That you don't miss where you're trying to get to. So now let's add the blue note real quick. So if you remember from box 1, we have a blue note here at the 6th fret of the 5th string and at the 8th fret of the 3rd string. And that doesn't change for this pattern. So I just go through it. And I know I'm fingering this badly, but it's so you can see. And you can also add the 11th fret on the 1st string. And what's really kind of fun, at least I like this lick, it's a very piano style lick, is to play 10 and then hammer on to 11, pull off, and then pull off to 8 all at once. So that's one pick. And then I play the 10th fret on the 2nd string. And you can do it in all 3 places that the blue note pops up. So I can do it at the 10th fret of the 1st string, at the 7th fret of the 3rd string, or the 5th fret of the 5th string. Okay, so just a fun lick to play around with. So here's the whole pattern. Okay, now let's say that you want to take that pattern, but instead of only, let's say you don't want to be limited to the 6th string root. Let's say you want to use a 5th string root. Well, in order to do that and stay in the key of A, I'm going to have to go up pretty high. I need to go to the 12th fret of the 5th string. So let's do that. All right, so here I am at the 12th fret of the 5th string, and I'm going to do the exact same move from the top. So 12, 10, 12, 4th string now, 10, 12, 14, 12, 14 on the 3rd string. Okay, that's no different than what I did down here. Okay, so it's the exact same movement. But from here, when I go up to the 2nd string, I have to add a fret. So I'm going to have to go to the 13th fret and the 15th fret. And then I have to give that fret back, I like to say. So I go to the 12th fret and the 15th, and then slide up to the 17th. So 10, 12 on the 5th string, 10, 12, 14, 12, 14, 13, 15, 12, 15, 17. Now you'll notice I use my middle and pinky here. You can use 1st and 3rd or middle and pinky, whatever you're comfortable with. Whatever you're not going to make mistakes with, that's the one to use. So again, okay, so that gives us actually quite a bit more fretboard real estate, because check out what happens when I get to the end. If I switch to my 1st finger, well, this is box 1. Okay, so if you put these shapes together, if you take the traditional box 1 that you already know with this pattern either on the 6th or the 5th string root, you've actually got an enormous amount of fretboard real estate at your disposal. So you can actually go all over the fretboard pretty easily. Okay, so again, and we have blue notes here too. At the 13th fret of the 4th string and at the 16th fret of the 2nd string. And again, I can do that little trick. All right, so hopefully that gives you just really, like I said, another way to look at those same group of notes that we play a lot. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope you get something out of it. You know, turn on a jam track. Once you get one of these patterns down, turn on a jam track and spend some time playing along with it. And I almost guarantee you'll run into some sounds that you recognize. So again, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.